A big hello and a warm welcome to all of you amazing and beautiful people out there. Welcome to my channel, the Twinflame Union. In this channeling session, I'm going to be talking about a very important aspect of the twin flame journey. A very big reason why you guys are actually playing the masculine and feminine roles. The reason why you are in the twin flame journey and the reason why you are experiencing opposite polarities. So, let's get started. But before I get started, I would like to tell you that for personal readings, guidance on dream interpretation, counseling, therapies, hand-holding, clearing negative energies towards your divine masculine, transmutation of fear into love, please go through the description box first, and once you are very sure, then write to me at thesunamoon@gmail.com. Also, when it comes to twin flame intuitive reading, I prefer not knowing anything from you about your twin flame or your journey. But in case of therapies, you have to share your experiences, past traumas, hidden traumas, trauma bonds, abuse. There are many things that you'll find out about yourself during the therapies that were actually leading to a separation, not being able to get into a timely union. Now I'm going to be talking about this aspect about the twin flame journey, which is the difference between good and bad. One of you, the divine masculine or the divine feminine, takes the role of good, and one of you takes the role of bad. Now, the divine masculine energy can be in any gender, which means that some of you, being men, you would meet women who would have all the runner's characteristics, and they've been treated or they've been raised to become a runner. But you will see that certain qualities about them make you feel that they are so bad. And with the divine feminine, like which can be a man or a woman, doesn't matter, you will notice that they have a lot of qualities which are too good. As the thumbnail says, that divine masculine wants to be bad, or divine masculine wanted to be bad before he understood everything. And the divine feminine always wanted to be good. But despite being bad and despite being good, both of them had their own difficulties and own triggers in the journey. And this whole journey actually revolves around the dance of good and bad. Now let me tell you, good and bad are actually the same things. They are the two sides of the same coin. I personally understood this concept, or I started getting very deep into it, because I myself was going through these questions of, why did I do good here? Because doing good was the wrong thing to do here, or why did I do bad over there, or why am I not confident enough when it comes to giving it back to people who deserve it, or what is the fear within me? And then in 2016 I wrote a song. I think all of my work, be it songs or be it stories or be it a book or be it any of the work that I do, these are all channeled messages. I feel I personally don't have, or I can't take so much credit in it, because when I read the stuff, it is so deep that I sometimes feel that how did I even write this, or how did I even come up with this? But then I feel that when you receive channel messages, sometimes you receive channel messages from the future you. It's actually you, or maybe it is like a higher version of you that is trying to communicate with you, or it is your guides and it is your masters. And I still remember there was a person who told me that he was channeling some extraterrestrials, and I had at that time composed a song. A lot of my music is not yet released, but some of the people who are close to me probably have heard it, or I play for them. And I obviously plan to release it slowly and slowly, because I feel now that most of the music is related to the twin flame journey. And obviously back then I did not know that I was learning from the journey or the messages were sent to me. So this guy who could channel extraterrestrials he was channeling them for me, or I don't know, he actually was sitting in front of me and he started talking like a strange person, like an alien. And then he said that, I made the alien get channeled into him, the ET, the extraterrestrial. And that extraterrestrial entity through him told me that there's a song that you wrote and there's this really nice goofy line in the song. That particular line that was sent by me to you. And I was actually thinking that, that is possible, because it doesn't sound like I could have done it myself alone. I'm very much fascinated by paranormal and supernatural, and I know that people who are in the twin flame journey, most of you feel that way. Most of you feel that, all of the things that you see around you in the materialistic or the worldly world, a lot of the things don't make sense. And sometimes when you yourself see your own self craving for the things that you personally don't think is a wise thing or a genuine thing, you also don't like it. For example, people in the twin flame journey usually are not very crazy about getting a fancy wedding. And I mean people who are in ascension. I'm not talking about just people who are just talking about twin flames, but those who are literally practically doing some inner work, and they've been doing it for some time now. Like they want to improve. They want to become a better version of themselves. So a lot of people don't connect with spending a lot of money in weddings. I personally feel it's a total waste of money, time, effort, energy. Inviting so many people, hundreds and hundreds of people for a wedding, throwing a big party, spending so much money. You can do a lot of good things with that money also, like some other things which are good for the environment, which can inspire other people to live a better life, and which can also give you a healthy life. Then a lot of people in the ascension journey, especially the feminines, before meeting the masculine also, that their own twin flame also, they were not too much into commitment. Like they were more about, commitment is a personal thing. If you make a commitment towards someone, it is not necessary that you have to put it on a piece of paper, and only then the commitment is real. Because there are so many people who have commitment on paper, or they're legally married, or they got married in front of 500 people who saw them exchange the rings or the vows or whatever it was, and still they are not happy in their marriages. That's because the commitment is not genuine. The commitment is done more for the other people and less for themselves. But when you're in the twin flame journey, or say when you meet the divine masculine and you're starting to chase him, or you're scared that he's going to run away, a lot of feminines forget that their actual self would not have done it. They, as a person, as an identity, only got into asking for such things like commitment or something, some kind of validation, that give me a ring or put a, like a necklace around my neck, or show to the world that you love me. In many cases, the DMs have also run away because of that, because they felt a lot of pressure of marriage or a lot of pressure of commitment coming from the feminine side. And the feminine was doing those things because she felt the pressure coming from other places, which is the society or the family, immediate family members are telling her, get married, you're getting late now, or have children, your biological clock is ticking, what are you going to do? So these are the things that people on ascension journey don't generally practically would like to do. So this separation phase and this energy dance, this push and pull, or this being alone in solitude, also makes the feminines learn that a lot of things that I was asking from my divine masculine, I was doing it because I was also insecure. If I'm a secure person, if I know that he loves me, his ass will always love me. Not just his ass, but his whole body or his whole being. Because that's the type of confidence she has on love. Especially true love. Now, once you know that this is a person that you truly love, and you don't love them for their body or for their looks, even though you do love their body and looks because it's their body and looks, but you still connect with them because of the soul, and that makes them look good for you. Now, with the masculine and feminine, the biggest war is of good and bad. I would also request you to watch this song called The Universe is Like a Candy Jar. I wrote this song in 2016, and then my father passed away because of cancer. And from there, this song became like, I was singing it all the time, and I kind of felt there was a lot of depth in the words, because my father was also a very good man, like he's an excellent human being. And though there were many misunderstandings when we were growing up, but when you get into the ascension journey, just the way your misunderstandings with your DM clear, your other masculine energies in your life, which are of prime importance, they also see the real light of the relationship. So I used to wonder at that time that my father was such a good man. He's the one who I got inspired from ever since I was watching him. He would help a lot of poor people. He would just randomly, he was not the person who would go for donations or charity or this and that, but he was always helping people out. Anybody could come up to him and he would do anything for them. He has raised many people's children even before I was born and even after I was born. Whatever he could do, and most importantly, he liked to uplift people. If anyone would come to him and that person was in a very low mood, very sad mood, he would say some things to them and those people would get uplifted. So his nature was very different, and he was a very good man as how I see him and how I understand him, because everything that I am, especially doing things for other people, I learned it from him. So his death was a very big blow, but at the same time a very important junction in my twin flame journey. So after obviously he passed over, and he was also the one who wanted me to sing. I don't know why, but he always told me that you should sing, you should sing, you should sing, you must sing, you must sing, you must share your songs, you must not remain a closet artist, you must not hide, you should be who you are. Just spread whatever you have. And at that time, obviously, because of how the journey has been since childhood, I was like, no, I am not doing that. So after his death, I released one of this song, which is The Universe is a Candy Jar. It took me around 2 years because, it's not easy to just get up and do something. But this song, I remember sharing it with him while he was on the ventilator in the hospital bed. And probably those were also his final days, final moments. So I remember reading out this poetry for him. At that time, it was a poetry. The Universe is a Candy Jar was a poetry. But later on, I, sang and rapped on it and converted it into a song. But why am I talking to you guys about this song? And what has this song got to do with this particular channeling? The reason is that I'm talking about my father. It's a personal experience, but of course, all of us have very deep personal experiences that teach us, and some of us will resonate with it. Because in your own family, you would see that somebody, it could be a grandfather, it could be a grandmother, it could be an aunt, it could be an uncle, it could be someone who has a very important role to play in your ascension journey. Someone who has given you so much spiritually. They might not have given you something materialistically, monetarily, and they are also connected to your divine masculine, because your masculine energies, whatever masculine energies you're grown up with, and the first masculine energy that you come in interaction with is your father. So it's very, very important to heal that energy. If there is any healing that needs to be done, if you're wounded, if there are misunderstandings, if you clear all the misunderstandings with your own father, he may be dead, he may be alive, he may be separated, he may be with someone else, he may be with you. There could be endless combinations or endless situations, but you need to heal that relationship. And again, I'm sorry to say this, guys, but though I try my best to cover everyone when I do channeling sessions, I like to do it in such a way that it can help everyone who's listening to it. But I know that personal cases are different. Everyone has a personal journey also. As much as you take from the channelings, you can take it. But if you feel that your personal situation needs some kind of extra, spotlight or some kind of extra inspection, then you need to discuss with me personally. And as I always say, please first read the description box, because I don't want you to just keep writing to me and asking me about, hey, what's the reading about? Can you tell me this about the reading? Can you tell me that? And in the meantime, some people are so eager to talk about their twin flame journey that they start writing this, my masculine did this to me, my masculine did that to me, and etc., etc. That affects the reading. Like, I don't know yet whether you should go for a reading or you resonate with the reading more or with the therapy more. So then I wrote this song, The Universe is a Candy Jar. And this song was my own way of understanding duality. So when this song ends, you listen duality to singularity and woken up identities. So obviously, imagine in 2016, I had no idea that I would be sharing this type of information with you all, right? But the universe had already been doing its work one by one by one. The universe is always working. We don't know it. The guides are always working. The masters are always working. The universe is trying, not even trying, they're just doing it. They just make sure, they want to make sure that everybody, all identities get awakened. But we all have free will and we all have our own journey, our own speed. What all we have chosen, what all experiences the soul wants to go through as a body, it's all predestined. So why am I talking about this good and bad again and again and again? Because good and bad is something that you need to ponder. And I learned this through my father, because though he was technically a very good man, from my eyes now especially, and in my childhood and growing up years, I was always 50-50. I could never understand whether he was really good or whether he was bad, because he would never go to temples. He would never do things like publicly do charity, like, in announcement, in a social, he was never invited, or he would never attend any such place where he would be treated as a VIP or like some kind of chief guest or something. He would do very small things, like he would make a well outside the house, like a hand pump or something. And if I would ask him that, why did you do that? Because, we have taps and we have all of that. He would say, there are passerbys who cross this street, who cross our house, and they should be able to drink water. If it's hot or if it's cold or whatever weather it is, they should be able to drink clean water, and they don't need to knock at my door for that. If they see this hand pump outside the house, they'll automatically take it. So he was so considerable. Like, if he worked as a construction, he was a contractor, he was a government contractor. So technically, if you look at his achievements, he has major achievements. He's made many roads. He gave employment to many people. He got electricity from India to Nepal. He worked with the king of Nepal, actually, and that's how he got to meet my grandfather. And then the arranged marriage was with my mother. So he was a big guy. He was a hotshot, but he always lived a very simple life. He never liked to collect a lot of money. He was absolutely against bribes. He would not lie. He would not do anything of that nature. And it's the same thing that he would teach me. And I was probably the closest to him in the whole world, if you have to say that, after his mother, of course. I never got to really spend time with my grandmother, but he would talk a lot about my grandmother. Now, this person, say it's an image in front of me, maybe it's my father or your father or any person who's doing a lot of good things, but he's still seen as a bad person. Or maybe he was an alcoholic, he used to drink a lot, and his life, there were some very funny moments around drinking. And towards the end of his life, he completely quit drinking and smoking for 10 years. For 10, 12 years, he didn't drink and smoke. And he got cancer later on, towards the end of his life. And I personally feel that, if he would have continued to drink or smoke or do whatever he wanted to do, maybe he would have never gotten a cancer or such a painful disease. Surprisingly, he almost cured his cancer and he died because of a heart attack. He didn't die because of cancer, he died because of a heart attack during the treatment. So he gave me this clear perspective about goodness and how goodness is perceived on planet Earth. Now, again, all the feminines should know this by now, that you guys are the ones who have always been good. A good student, a good daughter, a good sister, a good friend. All your actions have been good. They'll all fall in the category of good karma. Okay? Nothing bad, only good. And I'll tell you why it's dangerous and why it's bad, why it's wrong. And if you look at the masculine, your counterpart, who is going to be completely opposite polarity. Like just for an example, if you hate maths, he would love maths. If he hates arts, you would love arts. You know, that much difference you will see. So, your divine masculine is basically a person who always wants to do bad, all the bad things he wants to do. He wants to bully other children. He wants to kick other people. He wants to push someone down. He wants to, all the mischievous things which are seen as mischief when you are a child. But when you grow up, you realize that, those were not really mischief. Some of the things are really crazy. But why is he doing that? And why are you being the good person? And then what is the connection of this song with this whole thing, with this channeling? First of all, I think this song itself was a channel song. And in last 4-5 years, I really feel like everything makes sense. All the lines, all the whole lyrics makes a lot of sense. Because this is Earth and this is a planet of duality, which means all opposites exist. But there's a reason why they exist. They exist because good and bad both exist in equal proportions on planet Earth. So there will always be some people who would be good and there'll always be some people who will be bad. Now, no matter how many good things you do, even just good karma, you'll increase your good karma, right? And you're assuming that I'll do so many good things, my karma will be good. No. This place, Earth, is not about increasing or decreasing your karma. You're not here to increase karma or decrease karma, the points I mean. Basically, you're here to neutralize all the karma. You are here to release the baggage of karma. So if you're going to be only good, you will increase, you'll have so many lives where you'll be reaping the benefits of the good. Do good, good comes back to you. Do bad, bad comes back to you. That's the simple thing that we have heard, we've been listening to. You meet the masculine. What does he do to you? He does only bad things to you. So many bad things. When you make a list, you'll see all the things he's done to me are bad things. And if you ask him, tell me something about this girl, he'll generally say that she was a good person. She was a really good person, like too good. Why? Why is he despising that goodness in you? Because he wanted to be good, but he did not. He could not. And I'll tell you why he could not. So from a child's perspective, now let's come to childhood, okay? From a child's perspective, we are always taught about what is good and what is bad, and then we are rewarded or punished accordingly, okay? So if the feminine is being bad, how will she get to know that this is bad or good? Obviously, the adults around would tell her this is bad. But is it fair to say, or is it correct to say that the adults around her know what is good and bad? Or they're just assuming it? For example, my father was not going to the temple, which is a holy place. He would just say, no, I don't want to go. He used to go to Gurdwara, which is another kind of holy place from another religion. But that too, he used to rarely go, very rarely. If he wanted to talk to God, he would sit in one place, on a park, on a bench or wherever. He would just talk and that's it. He hardly would even talk to God. Many a times he won't talk to even God. He would just be in his own. Now this is seen as some kind of a bad thing in the eyes of other people. Oh, this man doesn't even go to the temple? What type of a man is he? Everyone should go to the temple every day. In India, some people go to the temple every day. Literally, they go to the temple every morning. But if you ask them, do you do anything for other people? They don't do anything for others. So, I learned this from my father, that God is everywhere. You don't need to only go to a holy place to know that God exists. God exists in your own heart, in your own self. And that's where you find God. Just by doing all these ritualistic things like going to the temple, reading some holy books, does not make you a good person. Does not make you a good or a bad person either. So whatever other people were saying was a bad quality about him, from my perspective, from a child's perspective, it was supposed to be something good. Because I actually used to relate with him. And whenever my, elders would tell me, or my mother or anyone would tell me, you should go to the temple. If you don't go to the temple, you won't get good marks. I would totally refuse. I would say that I don't want to go to the temple only because I want to get good marks. That is like some kind of a business deal that you're doing with God. And then it would be told that this is not a good thing, it is a bad thing. What you're doing is bad. If you want to be a good girl, then you have to go to the temple regularly. Are you getting my point now, everyone? So in the twin flame journey, you have to learn about these things which are good or bad, or which are real or false. So interestingly, as you heal in this journey, as you do your ascension work, you're going to heal those parts of you that make you act good to people who don't deserve goodness. And this is the biggest thing you need to learn. And this is also something that your DM will learn. Because why is he always being bad? Why does he want to portray a negative image or a tough image or a rough image or an angry image or this or that? It's because in his reality, someone has taught him that this is how you will be liked by people, or this is good. Right? So when the Divine Feminine treats him really well, despite all of his weird antics, his running away, his bad habits or whatever, and when she doesn't want to take it anymore and it's enough, and she retaliates, he gets mad at her and he tells her to get lost and not contact him. That is his way of punishing a good person. Because he is used to being bad with everyone, and the feminine is being used to being good to everyone. And that way they both make mistakes, because later on he will realize this, by the way. All of them realize it eventually, that what I did to her was not wrong, I was not right, because I was bad to a good person. Okay? And she will realize that I was good to a bad person. He really needed some moral policing. He really needed to listen to me, from me a little bit more. I should have literally given him back whatever nonsense he was doing to me. But what did I do instead? Even when he was bad to me, I started pacifying him. So when he started ignoring me, or he would not talk to me properly, instead of telling him that I have had enough of it and I'm not going to accept or tolerate this type of behavior, the Divine Feminine actually starts telling him, don't go, don't do this to me, please listen to me, please talk to me. And this has a very bad impact for a long time, because for a long time, he lives in his ego. He is once again made to feel that he did something good. It's only when, he goes away and then he meets other people or karmics or the karmic templates like movement or job or something, then he realizes that, everybody, because he gets the taste of his own medicine. In a way, you might think that, he is bad, but that's what I meant. Something in your perspective is bad, but in his perspective, that's good. Somebody has taught him that you should always be rude. When people don't understand you, don't talk to them. If they say strange things, or if they say something that you don't relate with, just avoid them. But actually, we should only avoid people who need avoiding. What about somebody who has something important to tell to us? Should we avoid that person also? No. Some of the lines that go really well with this channeling is, put you in a trap mode, this whole good and bad concept. Wanting this or that mode, the usual good and bad mode, the trivial dark and light mode, makes your head go faster, looking for disaster, not being a master, leaving signs of altar. Where did you falter? It's all about the time, it's all about the dates, trapped inside the gates, looking for a mate, for the rat race, calling it the one, giving it a shape, making a modern cave. This isn't the white, this isn't the black, this isn't the good, this isn't the bad. Becoming so cold, stuck inside a mold, guarded by beliefs, looking for reliefs, living in the heads, feeling the same mess, staying with the crowds, blaming the world out. And this is what we do when we are stuck in a good and bad situation. Like those people who always want to be good, how they make mistakes or how they increase their karmic baggage is that when they meet a bad person, say they meet a molester or they meet a thief or they meet a scoundrel or they meet a woman beater, or they meet someone who's into bad practices, some kind of bad business practices that go against human standards, or they are a risk for humanity, but they are so rich and they act in a way, like they have this image. Good people also get trapped by image very easily. Like, there are a lot of priests, a lot of, in every religion. I'm not just saying one particular religion, Hinduism or Islam or Christianity, or because good and bad people exist everywhere. So there are so many people who are in religious places. There are so many people who are in powerful positions in politics, in media. There are different types of people in different places, and a lot of people are actually doing a lot of harm to the society. But you don't know that, or you don't understand that, because you are only trained or programmed to be good to everyone. So you're just, knowingly or unknowingly, you're just acting good to them. Just the way all 5 fingers are not same, similarly, the treatment that we give to other people cannot be same. There can be 3 types of people who come up to you to ask you out for a coffee. But to all 3 of them, your response is going to be different. Because you're supposed to be a person, and especially if you're in ascension journey, you should be able to read their energy as well as understand your own intuition, your own instinct, and then act accordingly according to the situation, what is going to be the best thing in the situation. Now you might think that this could be a really difficult job. It actually becomes quite easy when you grow and grow further in the ascension journey, especially after surrender stage. You have a knack of reading people's vibrations, reading people's energy, and just by their behavior. There are many people who act as a guru, as a teacher. In my journey, I learned one of the things about how to find a true teacher or a true guru. A guru will never tell you people or tell anyone to pray to them. Or a teacher will never say that, I will do this or I will do that for you, or I am the doer. The moment you meet a guru who is making people worship him or her, only him or her, and they are taking people away from God, from actually, having faith in an invisible supreme power, and they are making people more materialistic, that means they are not guru. They are not real gurus. And there are so many, you can locate. A true guru will always tell you to connect or become a person who has an individual, his own soul integration with source, his or her own. So just the way the divine masculines don't know the difference between good and bad, the feminines also don't know. The feminines have been nice to a lot of people who she had actually been bad to, or whose ass she should have kicked in the first place. But she doesn't know the difference. And especially when you start the ascension journey, some of the divine feminines have also told me that before this whole twin flame thing happened to me, I was quite a badass. And they would actually, tell me that, like when I was in college or when I was in school, I used to do it. But I don't know what happened. Or even at my workplace, I used to be literally a badass, like to people who deserved it, not to everyone. And that's why most people would not, mess with her and just stay away from her and be like, yeah, she can do anything, she's a crazy person or whatever. And those are the bad people talking. The ones who purposely and knowingly hurt others or trouble others for their own benefit. People who are on the ascension journey should have nothing to do with good and bad. And specifically, they should never ever focus on doing things which are done on purpose to garner praise. Because what is praise? Praise is also like, uplifting yourself, your ego massage, A lot of people do many good activities so that they get praise from people. Like going to the temple is a good activity. So some children do it so that all the elders would love them and the adults would say, oh, this is a good boy or a good girl, every day goes to the temple and this and that, you know. Now, and people who are pleasers, people pleasers, they're also always good to everyone because they don't want to upset anyone. They don't want to spoil anyone's mood because they're constantly taking it personally. The ascension journey is simply about being authentic or fake. You can't be fake, of course, you have to be authentic. Now, to be authentic, if you have to appear bad in front of some people, it should not really bother you. That's the thing. You should be able to speak the truth without any fears. If you have fears, to be real, to be authentic, to present your own self the way you are, not without any of this manipulation. If you still are scared to say the words or voice your opinions properly, then you need to do more ascension work. All right. Technically, they say, oh, people who are spiritual, they are very quiet and they are always very relaxed and they are peaceful. I don't think that's true because I have seen my own masters scold some of the disciples and students when they were not serious, and the whole building would tremble, the whole building would shake, and they would never mince their words. I don't remember, even if, he would be using a mic, he would constantly be saying whatever he really wants to say in the moment. He would just not fake anything. And that's what he obviously taught to people like us. Another thing which is very handy in this channeling is that the marketing and PR that people do to uplift their image, that is also an act of evil or an act of ego. Anything which is related to ego, it's an act of evil or devil. Okay, and that's the reason why we see a lot of devil worshippers, and they're always very fancy. They'll have all the big cars, they'll have all the big things, but what is the use of it? They are just doing it to show it off. It's not like they have a big house because they want to give employment to people, or they want to give shelter to those who need it, or they are offering food to others, or they're doing something, for environment. No, they are just doing it because they want their own personal image to be uplifted, and they want people to worship them. They want people to pray to them. They want people to sing praises for them. All egoistic people, all egotistical people who are, especially even when the divine masculines are unhealed, they only want to hear only good things about themselves. Like you praise them, you are their best friend. You tell them one thing, you tell them one real thing about themselves. You criticize them a bit. And it's not even like you're purposely criticizing. They will take it to their hearts and they'll get offended and they'll make a huge hue and cry about it. Then we come to the feminines who have lack of self-respect. So even when someone is treating them badly, they don't realize it. They don't realize it. They're so scared and they're, so timid and vulnerable, oversensitive. Goodness and being a badass, both are also needed in balance. And that's what makes you an authentic person. So when someone treats her badly, she's still trying to pacify them, and this is a result of living with narcissistic people. Like if you are supposed to, always please your narcissistic adults or someone narcissistic around you, then you'll constantly live in that emotion that you are not good enough, but they are like kings and queens and you need to please them. You can't upset them. I have seen this with narcissistic mothers, and even at 50, 60 or 70, they will simply not accept something that they have that is wrong, or it is always their privilege to trouble other people. Like, even if they lie, even if they do something wrong, and you tell them that, hey, why did you do this? Why did you lie about it? Or why did you, treat someone badly? Why did you bitch about someone? Why did you gossip about someone? I don't like to use the word bitch because I think bitches are really the most loyal, loving animals. So let's just say talking badly about people behind their backs, okay? So, why would you do that? And they would literally talk as if it is their privilege to do all those things. It is their privilege to exaggerate. It is their privilege to show off their materialistic achievements, or even if they're not their own achievements, but just show off, show to the world how rich you are, how wealthy you are, how affluent you are, how amazing you are, how beautiful you are, how gorgeous you are, how intelligent you are, how wise you are, etc., etc., etc. And again, narcissistic fathers, if you have an oversensitive, empathetic father, then and a combination of a narcissistic mother, or the vice versa, you have a narcissistic father and an oversensitive, empathetic mother, then the child is supposed to go into a lot of trauma bonds. The child is supposed to have a confused concept about being authentic. They will not be authentic because they really don't know how to be authentic. Even if they have many authentic things in them, but they will be, shut about it. Like, say, for example, there's a girl, there's a girl child. She wants to dance. Maybe the parents will tell her, hey, don't dance, it's not a good thing. And then she grows up and she meets some kids who are really good dancers, and the parents are really appreciating the children, and they're taking them to different competitions or different places. So the child is totally confused that, in my house, my parents did not let me dance. They saw it as something bad, or maybe only my brother or the male children were allowed to dance, but not the females. What is wrong with me? So now they would want to dance, or they will dance, but they will do it in private, or they will do it secretly, or even if they have to go to the discotheque, they'll lie to their parents, and they'll go out wearing a normal jeans t-shirt or something regular, and then they will change in the washroom. And so why are they doing this? Why are they lying? And this in turn makes them a bad child because they're doing all the bad things. It's because the parents have grown them up or raise them in such a way that the child is definitely not clear about what type of behavior suits which type of person, or what type of behavior should be reflected by them personally also, individually also. So this will give you a good fodder to think about your journey, about your relationship with your DM, with your twin flame, with yourself, with your people around you, or your workmates, or your colleagues, or your friends in general, etc., etc., your life in general. You would also be able to clearly categorize or clearly see people, and that's why I say surrender is the key, because it will teach you so much in the journey. You'll grow leaps and bounds once you surrender, or if you keep trying to surrender, even if it's very painful. I understand it's very difficult sometimes. On some days it's so difficult, but once you cross that fear or you face that situation, it will be a different thing altogether. So this clarity all feminines and all masculines need, that are they being authentic, or are they acting in fear, or are they acting out of lack or limitation, or are they just acting out because everybody is acting out in a certain way? Like if the whole society is scared of a certain disease or a certain virus or certain situation, some kind of financial fear they have, doesn't mean you also have to be like that. You are in a twin flame journey. You're in the ascension journey. You got to be different from other people. You got to be rational. You got to be radical. You got to be creative. You got to be positive. You got to be optimistic, and you got to have faith in the invisible supreme entity that is called Source. So on that note, I'm going to be closing this channeling session. And if you want to check out the song, The Universe is Like a Candy Jar, you can check out the Sunamoon vlogs. The song is under the popular uploads, though this channel is not very popular, but you can just find the song under that category. This channeling has been really, intense for me also. I'm sure it's intense for you as well. One love and peace out, and thank you so much for doing all the amazing stuff that you're doing.